The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
All right, you know our next guest as the inspiration behind The Wolf of Wall Street. In the 90s, he was convicted of fraud and related crimes for stock market manipulation and running a boiler room as part of a penny stock scam. Now he's an active sales trader and crypto bull. Joining us now is Jordan Belfort. He always be closing. Welcome to the show, Jordan. You know, we're just talking about Tether, and I wonder, do you smell a scam in Tether?
I've been saying that since 2017, that I thought there was a big problem with Tether, and I was shocked that nothing ever came of it because I think back in 2017 there was a thesis that it seemed to be magically creating itself at those times when it was needed most, when people were trying to liquidate Bitcoin, and I was getting it all third hand, so I have no direct evidence, but I'm saying it seemed like a pretty convenient thing that the supply of Tether expanded when it was needed to expand and so forth, and then when I heard they settled something, civilly, and I was like, wow, how'd they get away with that? Like, I mean, that's just sort of not the sort of thing that you would settle civilly. So it's a pretty serious allegation. Listen, I'm a crypto bull. You're right, long term. I think the sooner that massive regulation comes into the market, the better it is for Bitcoin, stable coins, and everything else. I think people are scared of regulation. They shouldn't be. If you look at back in history of any market that was like nascent, whether it was like the junk bond market, everyone said, oh no, the regulators are coming in. The market got much bigger. So I think it's a good thing. And the sooner that happens, things like Tether being printed when it shouldn't be printed will probably become a lot less common. And all the other things you're seeing happening with a lot of the pump and dumps will vanish as well. And that will make, I think, crypto far more viable for the mainstream and the institutions.
So speaking of scams, you say you've been onto Tether for a while. What are some other scams in the crypto world that you think people should be aware of that may not be yet?
There's so many. It's really sad because I really believe that there's some great things out there, right? I mean, really, I'm a believer in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so forth. And who wins the day? Who knows, right? But you have these, let me just call them what they are, all these shit coins out there. And they're literally every single day, there's new ones being printed, and they're simply designed to separate people from their money. They're not legitimate, and they're being hustled, whether it's on Telegram. It used to be hustled a lot on TikTok, and they got shut down, which is a good thing. And they're just, they name a day, name a shitcoin, right? And there's so many of them. And what happens is there's a lot of influencers out there that have been promoting them and making a lot of money. They're pumping and dumping, and I don't think they realize that there's a paper trail for all these. And I have a feeling there's going to be hell to pay for some of these people that went out and did all this because they think that, the SEC doesn't regulate it, but they do. If the SEC doesn't regulate, then what will happen is the U.S. attorney will step in at some point, and there's going to be problems. And I think that as soon as that happens, the legitimate crypto is great for it. It's going to soar. And I think that needs to be cleaned out of the market. And, I don't want to name a specific one right this second. I don't want to shoot them out. I don't want to throw darts at someone like that. But there's so many out there. It's ridiculous. Belfort was one that was going around. It's like ridiculous,
So would you characterize Tether as something that would be, I don't know, a fecal coin?
No, very different. I think Tether, unfortunately, probably in its early days, they probably did some things they probably greatly regret. And they're probably running, I would guess at this point, they're probably running a very clean operation, I would think. But unfortunately, the things that you did when you were just getting started in the early days, they're all on paper. And when they do an investigation, they go all the way back and they use a statute called continued fraud. So there is no statute of limitations. So they can go all the way back as far as they want. And, they can go back to the very beginning, in fact. And if there was Tether that was created when it should have been created, that's a huge problem. I don't think it's a shitcoin Tether. I think it's probably pretty close, but I would doubt that they're still doing the things they did when they were just getting started.
So if, perchance, I mean, this is, of course, they deny, we have to say this, they deny they did anything wrong.
Right.
They've said,
Yeah.
they said they've made accidents here and there, but it wasn't intentional. But let's suppose that the Department of Justice finds something wrong and whatever. How do they get out of this?
I don't think they do. I think that I think it's a huge issue. I think that, and again, you don't know. And who really knows? The Department of Justice has a broad latitude of how they deal with these things. But I think we really give Tether a very serious black eye. And I would be very surprised if it didn't, at some point, maybe cease to exist, because there's other solutions besides Tether that don't have that sort of baggage. So
what happens to the market?
I don't know how. What's that?
What happens to the market if that were to happen?
I think the market takes a big hit, but then it comes back. I don't think it's a death blow to the market. I think it just simply is going to be a bad time for a while, whether it's a day, a few days, or a month. But I think ultimately, I think the fundamentals of things like Bitcoin and the value of smart contracts, and I'm a big believer in the DeFi space, by the way, decentralized space. I think the future is bright. There's going to be bumps along the way. I think if you're a short-term investor trying to trade in and out, that's very, very, very difficult to do. I think you need to, my advice, buy and hold. You believe in it, buy what you think has got value for the long term and hold it and be patient with it. I think that's a great strategy, especially with things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you believe in it, don't get caught up. Like, I hope Bitcoin goes lower. I hate to say it, because I'd like to buy more at a cheaper price. And I don't care if it goes lower.
Speaking of DeFi and where else are you focusing your investments, Jordan?
DeFi. In fact, there's a company I'm an advisor to up in Canada. It's called DeFi. That's actually called DeFi. And I'm not, just recommending anyone to buy it or not buy it, but you can just take a look at it. And but that's like, a platform that allows for the trading of coins, and it's got a great platform for that. And again, that's a long-term play. It's not a short-term. You have to go into this market, I believe, at least for a 2 to 3 year horizon when you're investing in this. You can't look for the quick in and out. That's one. I love, I'm involved with a company that's private called Monarch Pay, which is a payment processor. So it's a decentralized PayPal for crypto that really uses stable coins. It uses the currencies as well. It's got some great technology. And I really strongly believe in I think Bitcoin has got a very bright future. I really do. And you guys know I was a huge bear on Bitcoin for many years, because of sovereign risk. I just thought the government would shut it down. I always loved blockchain, but I'm like, how would the U.S. allow this to go on? I couldn't wrap my head around it of why. I thought they'd act like China's acting now, and they'd all gang up and try to shut it down. That's why I was a bear.
Well, they are. I mean, China is cracking down on cryptocurrencies,
but not the
mining.
US, right? So
the United
like China
States
is now, but
they're looking at stable coins right now.
Correct. But I think that it's insinuated itself enough into financial institutions right now that just my opinion, I don't see the political will in the U.S. to literally shut it down or ban it. I don't really, maybe I'm wrong, by the way, but I don't see that happening. And I think that there's a better chance that Bitcoin becomes a legitimate store of value and serves a purpose, as digital gold. I really think that's a possibility, a very strong one, and that's why I'm long. Bottom line, maybe I'm wrong on that. I think Ethereum, with its flaws it has right now, I think the base of it is brilliant, and the ability to do so many things with smart contracts, and also the NFT space. I think there's so many great use cases for this stuff, and that's why the shitcoins bother me so much, because they bastardize the beauty of what blockchain can be.
So what bothers you the most about the Bitcoin maximalists, if anything? And what do you like about them? So what's the good part and what's the bad part of the people who are into it?
Well, I was always hated them. People say it's going to 1 million. It's going to 100,000 next, 200,000 next year. One thing I'm sure of is no one knows where Bitcoin is going tomorrow or in a month from now or in 6 months. No one knows. And if they say it, they're lying to you. Okay, you can have a thesis why you believe it's going higher, but what I saw happening, especially in 2017, was as Bitcoin made its first meteoric rise from, dollars up to 7 to 20,000, when it got to like the 16, 17,000 range, in order to keep the pump going, they had to say it was going to like 200,000 because people aren't going to buy it for incremental returns. People are buying Bitcoin to get massive returns. They want 500%. So you start seeing these wild, outlandish projections about Bitcoin's going to be 2 million. And to me, that was very much designed to get the average person who was looking to get rich quick to put money in Bitcoin. And I saw the same thing happen with Dogecoin, by the way.
Yeah, given what you just said, that it's kind of impossible to make projections, I'm still going to ask you to make one. So, what if you just had to guess, right? Bitcoin, Ether by the end of the year. What do you have a price prediction?
Yeah, I'm probably the last person you want to ask because I lost the bet last year with someone. The CEO
you want to take a bet this year?
Yeah, hopefully I'll do better this year, right? But last year I lost. The CEO of Monarch Pay, which is a company I have a piece of, right? His name is Robert Beadles, very well respected in the crypto space, and he has the Monarch wallet and the Monarch Pay, which is launching. And I bet him that Bitcoin would be under 10,000 before the end of last year, and I lost $25,000. He was very nice about it, right? So I lost last year. So this year, and he was really instrumental in really changing my mind on Bitcoin because he had a very sober view of it versus it's going to $1 million, it's going to replace the dollar. I don't think those things ever happen. I don't think it's about that. I don't think it should replace the dollar. I don't believe sovereigns will allow that to happen. It's too disruptive. I think it definitely has a great chance of being looked at as digital gold in a very big way. I think it has so many use cases on the smart contract side. If I had to pick a price, end of the year, I would say between for Bitcoin, 45 to 75,000, somewhere in that range, slightly above where it is right now. Maybe as high, but again, I don't. That's just kind of like it's an educated guess. And I think for Ethereum, which I own a lot of as well, I'm guessing 3,700 to 4,500. My guess.
Hey, you're on the record now. What final question, since you mentioned it? What's your take on Dogecoin?
I am not a fan at all. I really dislike it intensely because it was a joke, and wasn't meant to be used as anything legit. It was just a fun thing, and I think that I watched a massive pump and dump happen right before my eyes, inadvertently led by Elon Musk, I'm sure he wasn't pumping and dumping himself, right? He just enjoyed it and I was having fun with it. And I watched all these influencers. Literally, I was caught, it was a penny a share of a penny. It was 1 penny. And I started getting the calls, buy this. And the exact words, we're driving it up to $1. That's a pump and dump. We're driving it up to $1. And everybody was part of the Doge army. Okay, and that is just so screwed up because I was in Venice, Italy.
Elon says he pumps, but he doesn't dump, though. So there's
that.
Well,
it's not quite true. But again, I think he did dump some Bitcoin. But either way, I don't think he's doing it. I don't think he's evil, Elon Musk. I really don't. He doesn't need to pump and dump. I just think he's having fun. Unfortunately, here's a true story. In Venice, about a month and a half ago, I did an event. 30 people around the dinner. I said, anybody own crypto? And 2 or 3 people raised their hand. Some young girl, 20. What do you own? Dogecoin. I did. Why'd you buy it? Because Elon Musk said so. What happened? I lost $23,000 of my life savings. Like that.
Did it make you nostalgic for the old days when you saw that, at the very least?
It never makes me nostalgic. That's the one. If I can listen, I do not look. Listen, again, it's not something I was proud of to say, but it was 35 years ago. But I think that, again, I want to just say what really bothers me is I believe in the blockchain, and I believe that the legitimate side of this is so powerful and there's so much opportunity that when you have other stuff like this, it bastardizes it. And that's what really bothers me.
Yeah.